Yeah, so what do you know about Gilbert? He is such a weirdo. Oh my God. I've been holding it in for like ever because he doesn't live that far away from me. And so, yeah, I've been kind of just like nonchalantly telling people what he's up to. But after this last weekend, I mean, oh my God. Yeah, he has been like with me. I got in a weird situation when I met Truth Seeker. And because he was like my co-host for, a couple weeks on Six Screens, and he was acting real strange, and Gilbert was in town. So I was like, Gilbert, do you just get me out of a weird situation? Because I didn't want to freak out and just leave, and Gilbert was close by. And so then I said, well, first of all, he came in, and then he made it worse because I was like, just get me out of this weird situation. And he didn't. I was like, come in and say, hey, let's, I need to take you to Walmart, for the protest. That's what I told him to come and do. And he didn't. He got this weird smirk on his face, and it was like, hey, and then he kept me in this scary situation, and then I just left then, and he's talking to Truth Seeker like he knows him for like a long time, and that he thought it was funny that I was uncomfortable and scared. And so he says later, yeah, I've been talking to him for a couple of years. We're good friends. And he said at the protest, because I was upset, I'm like, Gilbert, I asked you for help to get me out of a weird situation. And then, but this was before, after I left, I said, Gilbert, thanks for showing up. If I can ever repay you, just kind of like as a comment. And he says, well, yeah, you can come to my house. And so basically to repay him, he was wanting me, to go to his house. He wanted to get me in a hotel room, and with Truth Seeker, he wanted to do an exorcism. He wanted to do all this weird stuff. And I'm like, hell no, like on me. And he's like, yeah, and I want to sell it I want to sell your story to Netflix because I'm sick of just working my ass off. I want to make money at this thing. And he's like, I want to sell your story to Netflix. And he didn't say with you or like he wanted to like profit on it himself and just sue me. And Gilbert was in on it. Like they both wanted to profit and put me in a weird situation, and he called it a performance suicide. He's like, I want you to do a performance suicide, and then so I can make some money at it. I'm like, but they're both just using everybody. I mean, he called me up and asked me if I own a vibrator. What kind of vibrator do I want? I don't have that on audio, unfortunately, but I'm willing to say that he did. And, like, he'll call up specifically just to tell me a dirty joke. And Alberto Martinez, picture of him, he was at Warwick, and he was naked in a girl's hotel room. He did some other really crazy shit in Warwick. And so they kicked him out. Joel and Neil, the Great Apostate, they kicked him out. Yeah, well, then Zeb goes, see, I'm like freaked out about Zeb too, because Zeb was sleeping in the same bed with Spoonfed, and I slept in the same bed with Zeb. And when I did, I woke up in the middle of the night with his hands inside my clothes, and he's saying, let me make you feel good with my hands. Yeah, I mean, these guys are taking advantage. And the guy, Alberto Martinez, tried taking my room key, stealing it. Me and Maggie were in the same room, and he tried mixing up his key with my key and giving me his key and taking mine. And then later, but I made, I was like, no, what are you doing? And then I made sure which one was mine. But that was before he had a deer gutting knife and this weird roll of like put together roll of duct tape. He starts cutting his food at the dinner table with a used deer gutting knife. And then he takes off his shoes and his socks and then starts clipping his fingernails at the table. Then I caught him later trying to pickpocket in my purse while it's on my shoulder. My purse was moving funny, and I turn and he's going to put his hand in my purse. And then he took my credit card when I went to pay so that he could find out my real name. And then he's like, "Oh, this is your name?" And I'm like, he took it from the waitress. And then he posts on that he's here in my town. He followed me from San Diego to my town, 7 hours away. Yeah, so I went and made a police report. I mean, he's got like this, and the girls were like, yeah, it looks like some kind of a rape kit. He's carrying the backpack with him the whole time. It's like, yeah, he was, and so then find out what he did at Warwick. Joel didn't realize nobody from Warwick who knew about what happened was in San Diego, so nobody understood. But during the night, when the whole key thing happened, me and Maggie were sleeping, and at 3 o'clock in the morning, we hear somebody trying to get in our door. And it was like we just lay in bed. We were just like terrified. We didn't get up to look. He even smelled Maggie's hair. It was so creepy. And Gilbert came out, and he looked like he was coked out of his mind. He's like, I need to go somewhere and get something with my brother, and then we'll be there. And he comes, and his eyes were all glazed over. He was all weird. And I'm like, I've seen coked up people before. He was so coked out of his mind. Gilbert was like, okay, this is a truth seeker right there. And Gilbert was like, yeah, he's just gonna, he just came because, he just keeps trying girls until he finally gets lucky. He's like, yeah, I told him it was going to be like, Parker said, yeah, it was going to, Joel said it was just going to be like an orgy. So he's like, yeah, hey, I might get lucky, I'll just show up. And then he's got all, the dirty old sweatpants and all gross. And he was hitting on Stacy.